everybody, and welcome to The Shining. Today we're going to talk about 1998's slasher-style film, Urban Legend. I just watched this movie over Thanksgiving break, and I really enjoyed it. It is super complex, so me trying to explain the plot of this movie would be a complete disaster because there's a lot of small stories within the main story, so you kind of have to keep up with it. It's definitely a mystery type of slasher film, and some may say it's not, but I definitely consider it a slasher. I mean, it definitely fits. The cool thing about this movie, though, is each kill is based off of an urban legend, and it explains the legend that it's based off of, after it happens. There's actually a lot of deaths in this movie, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, well, for starters, this movie has an insane cast. We have Jared Leto. We have Robert Englund, who plays as Professor Wexler. We also have Danielle Harris, who plays the roommate of the final girl, if you will. I didn't expect to see Robert Englund and Danielle Harris in this, so I was super impressed to see them. But overall, the cast was really good, and the characters, I think, were very well done for a group of college students in 1998. You have Natalie, who is the final girl of this movie. I think she does a really good job. The only thing I had an issue with is sometimes she gets a little whiny, and here's my thing. That sounds so terrible to say out loud, but you need to have a sense of confidence in your abilities, at least, if you're in a situation like that. You don't want to not be believable. So, that's the only thing that I kind of had an issue with. I mean, it wasn't bad enough for it to take me out of the movie to where I didn't think it was believable. I just wish she wasn't as, at some points. So that's the only thing, especially towards the end of the movie. But that's okay. You have Paul, which is Jared Leto, and he's the campus reporter. So, I mean, that's a pretty typical role. We've seen that multiple times before. But overall, I think he did really good. He also was a suspected killer in this as well. Plot twist, wasn't him. Thank goodness, because that would have been awkward. And I know I just spoiled it, but it came out in 98, so you've had like 22 years to watch it. But Jared Leto, he did awesome in this. And then you have Damon, who was just one of the friend characters. He was actually the first one to be killed. But R.I.P. Damon. You have Sasha, and then you have Brenda. Sasha is just another filler character. She is the radio anchor. She has a radio station, so that does play a part in the story. It's just, it's just a side part. And then you have Brenda, who is Natalie's best friend. She is amazing in this film. I forgot her name. She did great. There's two sides of her acting in this, wink wink, and I think the switch of character is phenomenal. I think she played her role quite well, to say the least. Again, this movie surprised me in a lot of different ways. I did not expect it to be as good as it was, and I was 100% invested in Urban Legend. So, yeah, the cast and the characters I think were perfect. I think for the group of kids, I think they were portrayed well. It's believable. So you believe that they're, college students just doing their thing. So A+ for that. Okay, and of course, since we're talking about a slasher movie, we got to talk about the deaths a little bit. There was a lot of deaths in this movie. There was 9 deaths in total, one of which was off screen. I'm not going to, say which one was off screen because that would be giving a little much away. But they were brutal. Like, I can't even sit here and say this was my favorite kill, because that would sound so bad given the brutality of them. They're not like, it's not super gory per se. It's just, they're kind of rough. I mean, I didn't expect it to be as brutal as it was for a 98 slasher kind of coming off the tail end of Scream. I can definitely see where it is it mimics Scream in several ways. I think it did so effectively. But, I mean, the deaths in this movie were definitely up there. I was not expecting 9. So overall, I think this movie was super effective in what it was aiming for. I think it is a fun slasher. I think that if you're not, super big into the slasher genre, I think this is a nice modern twist that you might be able to enjoy. Uh, it definitely has a very good mystery element. The who done it aspect of this movie was super effective. They did a very good job of covering their tracks, and you really not able to guess who the killer is until the end. So A plus on that too. I don't really have a lot of complaints with this movie. I mean, it's a solid movie. I'm not saying it deserves awards out of the whatever, but it's definitely worth the watch. And if you're bored on a rainy day, I definitely suggest this movie. So yeah, those are just my thoughts on Urban Legend. You keep watching scary movies, and I'll keep talking about them.